Welcome back to BetterAvecBourbon. Today we've got a special treat, the Knob Creek 12, the oldest in Knob Creek's standard bourbon lineup. And we'll be tasting it alongside the Knob Creek 9 to see if 3 extra years is worth double the cost. Starting off, let's get the Knob Creek 12 open. Knob Creek is made in Claremont, Kentucky by Jim Beam Distilling, which is owned by Suntory Global Spirits. The mash bill is not on their website, but it's believed to be 77% corn, 13% rye, and 10% malted barley, so there's sugar and spice and everything nice. The royal blue with gilding makes the bottle look quite regal and worthy as a gift to celebrate milestones. So let's celebrate my now 600 subscribers. Grab your whiskey, Glencairn, and let's get to it. Let's start by pouring an ounce of the good stuff. Knob Creek Small Batch Series was created in 1992 by Booker No, the grandson of Jim Beam, only a few years after the release of his namesake whiskey, Booker's, in 1988. Now let's give it a swirl. Knob Creek Small Batch Whiskey is inspired by the Bottled in Bond Act to represent the high quality and full flavor of pre-prohibition style whiskey, which is why the 9-year-old and the 12 sit at 50% ABV and 100 proof, just like Bottled in Bond whiskeys. Look at that gorgeous color. A deep, dark amber red thanks to at least 12 years aging. Knob Creek has become a favorite of mine as they make great age statement whiskey at a reasonable cost. But enough hyping it up, let's give it a sniff. Knob Creek says for aroma we should get heavy toffee with charred undertones, matured tobacco, toasted coconut, and dark chocolate. For me, I get vanilla from the char, toasted peanuts, some smokiness, and a deep caramel and toffee. One of the best whiskeys I've smelled. Now let's give it a taste. They say we should get bold and spicy overtones, leathered fruits, vanilla, and caramelized wood. And for finish, warm, smoky char notes remain with lingering heat. I definitely get some boldness, salty peanuts, smoky vanilla, toffee, and caramel. A bit of fruit, but it's hard to pin down. Let's get the cork back on. A delicious dram with lots of flavor in every sip, and a long warming mouthfeel. But let's compare it to its younger sibling, the Knob Creek 9. This is a bourbon that keeps me coming back, and lately has felt like the perfect vessel for old fashions. But let's get it open. Once you've unsealed the whiskey, grab your Glencairn and pour in about an ounce. At a minimum of 9 years old, it's got great color, still amber, but it leans a bit more copper than the 12. And because I like to get a jump on the nose, let's give it a swirl. The Knob Creek 9 comes in at about $30 USD and $60 Canadian, which is about half the 12 at $60 USD and anywhere from 110 to 150 Canadian. Fortunately, I got it on the lower end of that. The 9 is suspected to have a mash bill of 75% corn, 13% rye, and 12% malted barley. So a bit less corn and more barley than the 12. But enough budgeting, let's give it a sniff. For aroma, they say we should get toasted nuts, grain, and oak. For me, I actually get a bit more than that. Toffee and caramel, signature peanuts, orange rind, and even a bit of apricot. A really nice nose. I like the bottle shape, and although it's not quite as regal as the 12, I like it all the same. And the black wax topper is a nice touch. But let's give it a taste. They say we should get rich, sweet, woody, full-bodied, and almost fruity. Not far off from what we got on the nose. And a long, rich, glowing finish. For me, I get peanuts, toffee caramel, and orange zest. The toffee and peanuts aren't quite as prominent as the 12, making way for a slightly bitter orange finish, but it's still a delight. Final thoughts, I think the 12 is the superior sip and one you'll want to savor. If you're a collector of aged bourbons, this is one to get. However, the 9 has a bit more utility. At 50%, it holds up well in cocktails, and that orange zest makes for a great fit in an old fashioned. Thanks everyone for watching. What are your thoughts on Knob Creek? Let me know down below. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, hit that like button, press subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.